You guys mind if I do a little bit of comedy to start off? Okay, cool. It's been a weird season for me, guys. It's been a weird season. I had to explain to my aunt the difference between a butt dial and a booty call at the family dinner table. My uncle did not look too happy. I do love my family. My family is a great family. They're a white family. I was adopted from Haiti, from a white family. Give it up for adoption. Yeah. Thank you. Give it up for adoption. Give it up for adoption is what my biological parents said. Give it up for adoption. We are going to give you up. That wasn't a good accent. Maybe it'd be better if they kept me. People always ask me, like, they're like, Thaddeus, what is it like to be adopted by white people? I tell them, I've never been adopted by black people before, so I can't tell you the difference. They're like, Thaddeus, when did you realize that you were adopted? My parents are white, so when I learned the color wheel, I was 23. No, my family just wanted me to have a normal American life, so they got a divorce. So I guess my white privilege is 2 Christmases. Yeah, some white people don't like that joke. I guess they don't believe in Christmas. I don't know what to tell you. Yeah, it's interesting. Like my mom actually, they told me the story about my adoption. You guys want to hear that real quick? She sat me down. She said it was 1988, and there was a coup going on in Haiti, so we couldn't get you out of the country legally. So what happened was we had some missionaries fly in, pick you up, take you out, and then you're with us. That's trafficking. I don't know if you've ever realized you've had Stockholm Syndrome for the last 30 years. Like, what do I do? I'm asking you, what do I do? Like, where's Liam Neeson when you need him? I'm always afraid to do that joke because I don't know if it's taken. There we go. We doing puns. We're loosening up. There we go. I actually got to go back to Haiti. I gotta meet my biological father face to face, and I immediately came back to America and got a gym membership. Turns out diabetes runs in the family. Like we don't run, but the diabetes, it do. People ask me like, Thaddeus, do you still talk to your biological father? And I say, yes, I do. It's mostly through Western Union. If you understand anything about Haiti, you understand that joke. Someone asked me, like, do you give him money or does he give you money? I said, do you even know what the hell Haiti is? Yeah, like I'm on the phone with my dad. Hey, yeah, Dad. Hey, I heard times are tough in Haiti right now. But listen, my Blue Apron account's running dry. I'm going to need some money ASAP. Merci. Pas de quoi. That's right, you guys heard a little bit of Creole. I am bilingual. I'm not biracial, but sexually, I am bi. Myself. Joke always hurts a little bit. I grew up in a white town. I was a thespian. So guess who got to play Dr. Martha King Jr.? My friend Billy, who was really good at blackface. It's okay, he's running for Congress, he's fine. It was a different time. It was the 2000s. And when he got sick, I got to be Dr. Martha King Jr., guys. I got to play Dr. Martha King Jr., and I bombed. I thought like my blackness was gonna kick in, and like I could just remember that I had a dream speech by heart. Like it was just gonna spew out of me. Did not study for it at all. I said I had a dream. Like, oh, there's more shit. And and it turned into a nightmare real quick. Like that town's still racist, and I feel like it's my fault. Should have nailed my lines. I got typecast a lot in that place. They made me be a gangster one time. I had to be a gangster in a musical. And I went back and I watched The Wizard of Oz. There's no gangsters. What are we doing, in The Wizard of Oz? Why am I doing the sea walk in the middle of The Wizard of Oz? Why are my lines, oh, hell no, that's a big house. That didn't make sense. Didn't make sense. You know, like growing up in the white town, it was interesting because I had like a lot of white friends. And so any question you could think of, well, let me rephrase that. I've had all the white questions asked to me, so I'm prepared. Like, I'm prepared, like, because I had the white friends. And, like, the one thing they would want to ask me growing up in the 2000s was, can we use the N-word? That was the word. Can we use the... Some people look confused. If we could all just shout it out at one time, so... No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, you guys are all woke. Okay. You guys passed. All right. Give yourselves a round of applause. No one said the N-word. You guys are great. I don't know. I think they just like listening to hip-hop music or reading Huckleberry Finn out loud. I don't know. I think I have a rule for that. I don't think you should use that word. I don't think you should say it in front of black people. I don't think you should, if you're white, I don't think you should use that word. Just at least at home, I don't think you should use the word unless you're in a court case and you're a stenographer. Yeah, if you're the stenographer and the judge asks you to read back the transcripts, you're just sitting there just like, wow. I have not seen that word since Huckleberry Finn. Hey, Judge, I'm going to need to buy a vowel, please. I'm going to need to buy a soft A, please, preferably. Yeah, I just don't think we should use that word. What else? What else you guys want to know about comedy? What's that? All right, I did plan to be heckled, so. It is weird when the camera guy is heckling you. This is like, you're setting me up to fail, right? This is, oh man. You guys, that's comedy. I'm gonna break off. That's the transition. So we're just gonna clap like I just ended an amazing set. That's awesome. I wanted to do the comedy so I could show you like where the creativeness is with me, where I've started. I really added a lot of my life into comedy. All right, and I wanted to put that in there and get myself out there. And I think through doing that hundreds of times a year, it's been able to let me be myself even more with people and interact. When they asked me to speak to Creative Mornings, I was very excited. And I was like, I don't know what I would have to say to you guys because you guys have heard a lot of speakers come in and say different things. I was like, well, let me just share my story. And that's kind of what I want to do today. So as I talked about, I was adopted when I was 10 months old. I was told the story that I was adopted and my mother died and my father couldn't take care of me. And so we even had a death certificate, and they sent me here, and I was with a wonderful family. And it was great. And I grew up in this white town, which obviously had a lot of different struggles. Not everybody, the internet was kind of new still. Like so there's a lot of old ideas, and there still is a lot of old ideas. But I feel like it really shaped who I am today because like now I could face a lot of different challenges. And so I want to kind of talk to you about my creative process, and that sounds so like pretentious, the creative process, like with the glasses. But like I want to talk to you about like kind of like where I'm at and like who I am. When I was in high school, I was severely afraid of the dark. Who was afraid of the dark? Raise your hand if you're still. Okay, cool. I was severely afraid of. I was in high school and I slept upstairs, and if I would be thirsty or if I had dry mouth, I would have to go downstairs and drink. And yes, use the word dry mouth. I was a pothead. So I did not want to go downstairs and get water because I was afraid that a class 5 demon was going to come out, bite me, and then just like drag me to hell and kidnap me or something like that. Those were the fears in my head. And so and we all have these fears in our head that aren't going to happen, but we play them in our head constantly. So what I decided to do, I'm like, this is ridiculous. I'm in high school. I shouldn't be afraid of the dark. So what I would do is I would go downstairs and I would just sit. I would just sit in the dark. I would just sit there and I would just look around, and I'd wait for the class 5 demon to show up. It never did. And then I'd go back upstairs. And then I would do that again. Anytime I would be afraid of the dark, I'd be like, all right, I'm kind of having this fear. I need to go in, sit in the dark, and I would spend a little bit of time there. I'd look around. Nothing's happening. And then all these fears started to be ridiculous. And it would start to become a waste of time because I wasn't afraid anymore. So I would go up, and that's how I conquered it. And that's how I've conquered a lot of my fears, is just going face first or just sitting in it or staying with it. I implore everybody to do this. If you have a fear, just jump into it and see what's going to happen, unless it's very dangerous. Like if it's meth, if you're afraid of doing meth, don't do meth. Should just have a slideshow. Don't do meth. So that's how I've gone with like my journey. So fast forward, I was in college. I felt a little bit separated from Haiti, my culture, and I was afraid to go back to Haiti because I've heard all the stories. I knew about Haiti, but I wanted to have more of a heart and a connection. So I asked like one of my friends to like talk to me about it. We sat there, we talked about it. I just opened up my heart. I was like, hey, this is my head. I need to talk about this. And like he sat there, he prayed with me, talked to me. The next day, the earthquake happened in Haiti after that, and my heart just broke. Now, and so at that point, I just wanted to go and be there with the people, with my people. So fast forward a little bit more, I'm on a plane to Haiti because it worked out, and I'm facing my fears. I'm going to sit in the dark, and at the time I did not know what was going to happen in Haiti. I didn't know that I was going to meet my biological father. I didn't know that I had 7 other brothers and sisters there. I just knew I had to go. I think sometimes with the creative process or being an artist, you're sitting there and you have a blank canvas and you don't know what's going to happen until you start. And a lot of us will sit back and not do anything because we're afraid of what other people are going to think, or we might mess up. Well, guess what? I went to Haiti and there's things that I messed up. There's things that like didn't go well for me, but there's also things that I took away from that were a lifelong experience. Jumping into Haiti, I was very anxious. I feel like I wanted to help, and I wanted to do everything. I just wanted to fix everything. And I think some of the American mindset is we want to infiltrate before we participate. You understand? And so I think even in the communities here, you could apply that in Indianapolis. Like before you say, hey, I'm going to do this, be a part of the community. Find out what that community is before you think you're going to change it. Because then you're going to find out something. Like something that my dad said is, I don't want to recreate the wheel. I just want to make the wheel go faster. So whatever that is and whatever is working, partner with that. I do want to talk about money. I think artists get shafted a lot in money. Clap your hands if you agree. All right. So everybody that's clapping is going to buy my merch. Oh, that's great. That is great. I am tricky. Here's the thing. This is like one of the biggest lessons I learned in Haiti. There's a lot. I could talk about Haiti for hours and hours and hours. To travel from town to town, we had these motos. So there's motorcycles, and you jump on a motorcycle, and you pay them some money, and then they would take you to the next town. And I was living there, and I was just like, all right, I'm Haitian, and they knew a lot of the town knew that I was American, so my prices kind of went up, right? Because they think he has money. And at the time, I was living on $50 a week, so I thought I'd immerse myself, and even that was like a lot of money to some people. But like I felt like I didn't want to just like live lavishly. I wanted to live $50 a week, and I'm gonna live amongst my people. Um, so I would ask for a motor ride, and this guy would charge me. And I knew I was like learning Creole. I was like relearning the language. So I was like, I knew like this isn't this much. Like you're charging me more, and I was getting offended. And so I remember having an argument. Like this guy took me. And he's like, hey, it's going to be this much. I was like, I had enough. I'm tired of getting taken advantage of. And I said, no, you're. I'm not paying that. You're going to give me the right price, which he could make whatever price he wanted. But I thought that it was smart at the time to stand my ground and be cheap, which anytime you're on that side of that coin, you might be wrong. You might be screwing someone out of their food that day. You might be messing up something with their kids. And I had an argument in front of the whole town. Not the whole town, but there's a group of people. It felt like the whole town. And they're like, and I was like, yeah. And then like he finally's like fine. He's like, you know what? This ride's free, which got me. He's like, wait, what? He said this ride's free, and he rides off, and I go back, and they're like, what are you doing? Like, didn't you come to Haiti to help? And that just broke my heart. Like, whoa, I'm the wrong guy here, you know? Like, because I made money a priority. That okay, money's my god right now. It's more important than you. It's my god right now. So I remember just seeing him one day, and I just like, hey, like, you want to come to this resort? Like, I'm gonna buy you a drink. And we just ended up talking about his family, and like I got to know him, and he became like one of my best friends in Haiti after that. Um, so what I'm saying with the artist community here, there's some people that you might think that they're charging too much, or you might think they have a high hubris or whatever. But like it's okay to give, because when you give, what you're doing is you're partnering with someone. You're partnering with their dream. You're partnering with their job. You're partnering with life, and that's like what we're supposed to do. So, anyways, that is something I've learned, and like I even try to bring that back here to Indianapolis. When I moved here to Indianapolis, I just wanted to get a part of the scene. I wanted to figure out where the comedy was, and I started going. I would just go to watch some comedy before I even participated. I was like, I had a dream. I want to do comedy, but like I want to watch. And I think that's kind of like where we struggle here in Indianapolis sometimes is knowing where to go, knowing where to support, or judging from your Instagram. And I think the more we come together and support each other, the better Indianapolis is going to look, right? I the one thing that I hate is when people say I hate Indianapolis and they live here. All right, and if you've said it before, I'm gonna forgive you. Like this, make this a clean slate for yourself. But like that's like the most. It's like the dumbest thing to me to be in a place and then just shit on it the entire time. It's not cool. It's not cool to shit on your own place. Like, could you imagine if like you had a house and you're like, yeah, this house sucks, like it's super messy. Then do something about it, right? Clean it up, like figure something out or move. And I understand it's okay to have problems with the way Indianapolis works, and sometimes it's okay to have problems with maybe a political leader or whatever. It's okay, but like do something to change that. Be the solution, or partner with people that have that same idea and make that change if you feel like that's your direction. But sitting back and shitting on something is just it's a mute point. Everybody could do that. It's very easy. It's very easy. So one thing I try to do in Indianapolis, like I like try to show a lot of Indianapolis love on Instagram. So like you'll see sometimes a lot of times hashtag Indy, love Indy. And I found if I love my city's probably gonna love me, right? But if I keep shitting on my city, it's probably people are gonna push me away. And that's what I had to do in Haiti. I just was like, hey, I'm gonna love this place. I finally ended up loving it so much. I love Maui. I miss it so much. I made amazing friends there. people always ask me, what was it like to meet your biological father? What was it like? Seriously, like, and like I literally just went there because I was curious what I was gonna look like when I was older. That's it seems shallow, but like that's like I wanted to know. Like I was like, all right, and then like I remember talking to him, and like we went through this whole amazing journey, going town to town looking for him, and I found out like that like he was there, he was living with his parents, and I asked about my mother, and he's like, oh yeah, like she died like about 4 years ago. I was like, wait, what? So they like had to fake a death certificate because that was how poor the climate was to send me over here. So I was like, oh my gosh. And then he's like, oh yeah, and she had some other kids. I'm like, wait, what? And they're like, yeah. And so like I realized I was this whole big secret this whole time, and I had 7 other brothers and sisters. I was the youngest. So I remember just like sitting at the table. I'm like, this is changing. I felt like it changed my whole life story, right? Like I don't know. I could kind of compare it to a lot of white people. I'll just say from my town to get everybody out of this. A lot of white people like thought they were like Native American until they did the 23andMe test. And I think that's what it was. Like, oh shoot, I'm not Native American anymore. Like, there's this whole other story. It's like maybe that was a lie. So I gotta sit down and try to like reconnect and live this new life story. I think when you're artist, you have to be ready for things to change. You have to kind of go with the flow, and like that was I was 22. That was like a big change of the flow. So that's a little bit of my Haiti story. If you guys want to talk about Haiti more, where am I at time? I didn't see the light. Okay, cool. Um, is that the speaker? Yeah, that means I'm popping. All right. Clap your hands if you've heard of Harder Brunch. Clap your hands if you're subscribed to Harder Brunch. Less. No, it's okay. I'm not shaming anybody. This is about to get everybody involved. I want to talk about my roommate Dyke Michaels, who I met, and everything I talked about in Haiti, I ended up applying with this relationship. He was another comedian on the scene, and we just started talking and becoming friends and supporting each other. I remember. No, you could get that. I remember we would like at the time we didn't have that much money, so like we would buy each other beers. Like, hey, can you give me a beer this time, and I'll get you back. So we'd always say, hey, I'll beer you back, and that just became our relationship. And then like during the pandemic, I was gonna move out and live with him, so we ended up bunking up together, sharing our life stories. And he, if you don't know Dyke Michaels, he is an amazing chef. And so what ended up happening was he was making this thing called Harder Brunch, where he wanted to brunch with the community, not just like the comedians, but all over. Whoever's doing anything in Indianapolis, he wanted to combine ideas. He wanted to sit down across the table. He wanted to make them food, and then he'd interview them on the podcast and have stories. So what Dyke would do, he would make 5-course meals. Well, it started out with 1-course meal. Like when I was invited on the brunch, I only got one. I'm a little bit salty about it. But it turned into a 5-course meal. And if you go and follow it on Instagram, you'll see. And what we ended up doing was talking about like, man, like a lot of comedians are kind of salty about how comedy should work in Indianapolis. Like, but Dyke was like, comedy could be fun. And so we ended up, he's like, do you want to be on this podcast? Because we just connected, and we just started doing this podcast. I'd started out just serving. People would come to the house, and there'd be a different guest every Sunday. And I wasn't on podcast yet, so I would just bring them out plates. I'd try to talk to them, do comedy, do what I could do. And then he realized this host situation was working, and I finally got called up to be a part of the podcast, which I'm really excited about. And now, from just doing that, doing community with people, inviting people in our homes, finding out their story, it's been like the biggest change in my life. It's my church. It's my way to connect to Indianapolis. It's my family now. And I feel so much more connected. We've had some of you guys on the podcast too, and I really implore you to check that out if you're wanting to get into the city and into the heart. Check out that podcast. I do have stickers. if you want to buy a sticker, please come out and get one. But more importantly, go like the Instagram, go like the podcast, and follow us because we're doing big things. Nuvo just ranked us number 2 podcast in Indianapolis. Yeah. We got ranked the number 2 podcast. Crime Junkies did beat us. The number 1 podcast in the world. They make all their views off of murder, so I don't support them. But I'd be happy to have them on the podcast. I would. That would be really good for us for views. But all that to say, I just wanted to share my story. And if there's like something that you picked up, like, man, I kind of want to do that, or there's something that like inspired me, good, do that, take that away. There might be some takeaways there. I would love to have some personal conversations outside there with you. And I think that's the end.